Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. In this week's episode, or today's episode, we're going to be trying out the new Lewitt, well, new to me, Lewitt MTP5, which is a handheld dynamic microphone. Bum, bum, ba. And the great Max Kendall is coming in to sing. The wonderful Chris Ibbotson did all the programming on this. It is a cover of Erasure's A Little Respect. Oh, and I played some acoustic guitar, all recorded with this lovely microphone. Stay tuned.
I tried to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh baby, refrain from breaking my heart. I'm so in love with you, I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason why you're making me work so hard. That you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no, that you give me no. So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me. And if I should falter, would you open your arms out to me? We should make love, not war, and live at peace with our hearts. I'm so in love with you, I'll be forever blue. What religion or reason could drive a man to forsake his lover? Don't you tell me no, don't you tell me no, don't you tell me no, don't you tell me no. So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me. I'm so in love with you, I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason, you know you're making me work so hard. That you tell me no, that you tell me no, that you tell me no, that you tell me no. So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect, give a little respect to me. I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect, give a little respect to me.
So you can win one of these lovely MTP5s. All you have to do is enter down below to win. So in this video, I felt like I wanted to prove something by using an inexpensive dynamic microphone. I mean, even a handheld, but an inexpensive dynamic microphone. Most people these days have all the virtual instruments built into their DAW. If you have Logic, for instance, most of it comes with it. Ableton, but anything, almost everything now, Pro Tools has a ton of virtual instruments. The only thing that is quote unquote analog here is the acoustic guitar and the singer. The interface is £200. The microphone is inexpensive. I'm using two more expensive plugins, but as I talk about during it. I mean, you could have done it with other things as well. All I'm using is Soothe, which of course is a kind of fully sweepable dynamic EQ, and I'm using a really nice reverb Seventh Heaven because I love it. But honestly, I could have done it with a stock reverb as well. So it's really all about, for me, can we make an amazing sounding song with relatively inexpensive equipment? We all know the answer is yes. We all know the difference is Vince Clarke and Andy Bell, and then bringing in great people like Chris Ibbotson to do the programming and the wonderful Max Kendall to sing. Okay, so starting off with the acoustic guitars. I found out years ago that dynamic microphones can be amazing on acoustic guitars. I found that out because I was working on this movie called Aquamarine. I made it on a Digi 001 on my G4 computer in my apartment in Silver Lake a billion years ago, and I used a 57 on my 70s FG series Yamaha acoustic. I played all the rhythm parts, and Mark Ender called me up and said, what are you using to record it? Sounds great. And I said a 57. He said, go figure. And I asked why. He just said 57s always sound the best on acoustic guitars. So I've always loved dynamic microphones on acoustics. So I thought, beyond the vocal, let's use it on acoustic guitar as well. Okay. So what are we using on acoustic? If I take everything off, it's actually totally usable like that. But I wanted to tame it because it's a pop song, and it's got to sit in with all of these incredible keys that program elements that the wonderful Chris Ibbotson, who is a Produce Like a Pro Academy member, join us. He did an amazing job. So I needed it to be a bit more controlled. I think we could have used that, but listening to the original acoustic, there was only one played on the original. It was panned kind of slightly to one side. I went full left and right. But on that, it's pretty compressed, and it would have gone to tape. So I needed to recreate that. I could have put a tape plug-in on it, etc., but I didn't. Maybe I should have. Who knows? So the EQ is this. That's just on the channel itself. First thing I'm doing is just high passing, get rid of excessive lows. Then I put a little bit of compression on it, which allows the attack to come through, the transients to come through. Then, on a subgroup of the two, I did use Soothe just to control any excessive high end, which is not much, and a bit of lows and low mid build up. So it's all really getting quite sweet and nice and safe and pop. Bit more high passing, really nothing, but some mid-range boost. I've always loved the mid-range in acoustics. It reminds me of the 1.2 on the old Neves I use. And then an L1 to contain those transients. So even though I'm letting them spark around, and now I'm going to tame them so they're always there, they're percussive, they're great, but they're just tamed. So I've got a nicely contained percussive acoustic guitar part. Great. The thing I love about it, this song is like a Motown song. Everybody's playing the same groove. They're all playing what the main synth is playing, which is this. Throw in the acoustic.
From breaking my heart, I'm so in love with.
So going back to that main synth. So the main synth, I'm doing an MV2 on it because I want every one of that articulation to come through. Off. Now there's a volume difference there. Hopefully you are further enough along on your journey to hear through the volume difference and hear that what it's doing is it's not just making it louder. What it's doing is it's taking some of that up, ba da, ba da. So it literally goes da 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 rather than da 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 da. So there's not these super quiet notes between. Because this song is being driven from that. The whole song, it starts with that part. If I go right to that, take out solo, it is the song.
I tried to discover.
So I wanted it to be up front. I needed all the articulation to be even. Next thing I did was literally just boost the mids again a little bit, boost a bit of high for some of the kind of sparkle on the top, all those transients, and then get rid of excessive amounts of low end, which there isn't much, but I want it out of the way because then the bass comes in. So there is a stereophile bass here, which has this. So what it's got is a going on, but it has this articulation of the transients. So what did I do? If I take the original, you hear that delay? Well, I took the first one and I wiped off all the lows, and then I used MV2 to boost up all of the high-end stuff, the little articulation. So have a listen now. So now you hear a lot more left and right. And then I monoed it, duplicated the file and monoed it, and did the opposite. So only the low lows, bit of R bass on there, bit of soothe to control the low end so it's not blowing up in anywhere. So basically dynamic EQ, and then another MV2. So we go from this to this. So it's a more even low end, straight down the middle. There's more movement on the left and right, which I think is awesome. It's just consistently moving forward and driving the song, and I love that. So put all those three elements in that we've been listening to. And of course, what holds this together more than anything else is a very, very simplistic drum part, which is awesome. So if we go and just listen to the drums, God bless the 80s, or was it early 90s? Anyway, God bless it. So a couple of things you'll see I did here on the kick. I did my usual kind of scooped out high boost here for some articulation if I take it off. So it's a bit fuller, but the submarine is massive. Take this off. It's just adding this kind of subby, because I always used to use a DBX 120, which is a subharmonic synthesizer. And I'd add 36 hertz and just go ooh, ooh, ooh. So I'm doing this with that. If I go full wet on this, it's at 37% over there. You hear that? Hopefully your speakers are hearing that. It's just literally ooh, ooh, ooh. So a little extra thump. And then as far as the snare's concerned, bit of body, typically boosting about 150. 6K and above. It's already a very mid-rangey snare, so I'm adding body and I'm adding some fizz on the top, bit of attack. And then the hat, what I like to do on hats often is trash them, distort them. I did this with a band a few years ago and they hated it. I did it on the shaker and the hi-hat. 5 years afterwards, they listened to it, it was like, wow, it sounds so modern and contemporary, now everybody does it. So what it is, the thing about the hi-hat is you can make it like super high-endy and pss, 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 and thin and useless, or you can get the mid-range in there and get the attack in. So here's without the lo-fi. Put it on. Okay, the volume has come up. Everybody that can't hear past that will go, well, that's why. But no, it's not just louder, it's actually saturating it. There's some distortion and a tiny bit of saturation. It's making it slightly darker, but it's also distorting the high end, and that thickens it. That's very much, without it on, an emphasis on the sp now. It's thicker. Love those three things together. The probably next most massive element of this, because there's shaker on it as well, which I also used lo-fi on. Quickly show you that before and after. So you can hear that's like a thin egg shaker. Now it's thickened it up. It's like it's gone from a little tiny egg to an actual shaker. Shaker, egg shaker. No egg shaker. Shaker. Yeah. But the next most important thing are, of course, the toms. So on the toms, I went to town. So here's before. It's good, they're supposed to sound electronic. But here, I boosted 110 Hertz. I cut a lot of 350. I boosted some 3K for some stick. So pretty much how I treat real toms, but I exaggerated it. So 3K, kind of like the stick hitting the tom, even though it's electronic. A 110 kind of boost globally across floor and rack tom, and then a 350 cut to make it just feel less cardboard boxy. Here's a before. And remember, you can download the multi-tracks and hear for yourself, and mix for yourself. They're on the verge of distortion as well, and I kind of like that. And then, of course, I use the tom verb, and no verb would be, I don't know, a seventh heaven. Absolutely superb. And I used a snare chamber on it. The cymbals dark, you can hear it, but so Vince Clarke, wow, what an insane talent. So he started off in Depeche Mode, then he had Yaz, of course, with Alison Moyet. There's something about Vince Clarke, incredible songwriter, great arranger and producer, musician and everything. And it's insane that Depeche Mode would produce so many incredible talents and all individually go off and do great things. But Vince really does take the cake in this instance, because he had Depeche Mode, then he had Yazoo, known as Yaz in the US, but he also then had Erasure with Andy Bell. I mean, it's like hit after hit after hit. What an incredible band. One of the beauties of growing up in Britain at this period was when you listen to Radio 1, you'd have the current British pop charts, which is obviously dominated by British bands, with some American as well. But at that time, in the early 80s and mid 80s, it was, well, from the mid 70s on, almost entirely punk, post-punk, new wave bands, like in that order in those years. And in between was always American soul, American funk, American disco, American R&B, was all of this incredible stuff. So it's not a surprise that even though this is a synth pop song, that it does play the same groove. Like we're talking about with Heard It Through the Grapevine. Everybody is playing this groove, and it just propels it. It's just incredible. So as far as the other synths and stuff are concerned, I didn't go too nuts on what Chris gave us. Here's an REQ with just a bit of... I just made it more of what it was. So a little, just a bit tip, tip, tip on the articulation. I've used articulation 4 times now. On the transients there. On the transients to make it feel more articulate. And then we've got these chorus strings that come in. Some high-end air, some high passing, just in case. Get it out of the way of everything else. And then the only other things we have left, of course, is ba-da-dum-dum-bum-ba in the bridge. I didn't do anything except turn it up. Chris just nailed it. It was the perfect sound.
I'm so will.
Juno strings.
That you give me no reason, you know.
Now I want to turn them up.
That you tell me no, that you tell me no, that you tell me no, so are you.
There's something about a song as good as this that has this momentum going forward the whole time. It's just a brilliant piece of production. It keeps this momentum going, it pushes the song along, and you don't have to necessarily do any tricks in production because the sections are so good. It's like a great Beatles song. You know, for instance, you've got a verse with a hook, and then you've got, of course, the bridge section. So glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world. Every single part of a song like that could be a chorus. And I think this is what's so beautiful about this song, is that everything is hooky. It doesn't need production tricks to go, oh, here's the chorus, there's lots of extra instruments that are going to come in. It's quite linear, but it moves forward the whole time. But one thing that does change, and that is brilliant, of course, is Andy Bell's vocals. You got a verse, chorus, you've got a double on the chorus, you can hear here.
So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me.
So you've got that, then you go back to a single vocal on the next verse. But when the chorus comes in on the second chorus, it just gets fantastic. Listen to this.
Tell me no, don't you tell me no, don't you tell me no, don't you tell me no. So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me.
I mean, the vocal arrangement, impeccable.
So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect to me.
So good. So unbelievably good. So, as you can tell, what's great about this mic here, the MTP 5, is I didn't do diddly. So if I've got a subgroup here where I've got Soothe just covering across the whole lot if there's any brightness I don't want. As far as the EQ is concerned, I did a bit of 8K boost, a bit of 7K boost. High pass to 100. So it's pretty compressed because I want everything to be even. I want it to always be pushing, pushing, pushing. So it's compressed and it's boosted on the highs and it's high pass, so there's no extra lows in it. That is all I did on it. But even if I take those off and also mute the reverb, here's just the vocal mics.
Give a little respect to me.
So good. Put the EQ back on, add the reverb, and the reverb, of course, again, is Seventh Heaven.
So you go. I hear you please give a little respect to me.
They've got that same coming up afterwards, but there's this counter line here.
I'm so in love with you. I'll be forever blue. That you give me no reason. You know you're making me work so hard. That you tell me no, that you tell me no, that you tell me no, that you tell me no. So I hear you calling, oh baby, please give a little respect.
And let's give a little respect coming up.
Give a little respect. Give a little respect to me.
Absolutely superb. So what does this prove? For me, as far as I'm concerned, it proves that an inexpensive dynamic microphone is not going to hold you back. Virtual instruments, programmed elements, acoustic guitar recorded with this, all the backgrounds, all the lead vocals recorded on this. Didn't do anything special, just recorded them with no EQ and compression on the way in. I mean, obviously he's a great singer, but a microphone, an expensive microphone, a cheap microphone, or whatever it might be, is not going to make your great singer not great and an average singer not bad. The reality is like a good, great product like this is really in the right hands is a perfect tool. I mean, I have to ask Chris, but probably most of the stuff was Logic, most of the stock sounds. Then as far as Pro Tools are concerned, record it with a one input interface. I've got one set, I've got the Seventh Heaven, which is an expensive plugin. I've got the Soothe, which is an expensive plugin. I could probably lose the Soothe. The Seventh Heaven, I could probably use the stock reverb and get pretty darn close. All that's happening with me using these two expensive plugins is I'm making my life easier. But that same results that we got here is really just a microphone and your DAW away. So, and of course, the brilliance of Vince Clarke and Andy Bell to do it, to write this great song, and then Max to come in here and re-sing it. So, thanks ever so much for watching. Of course, as ever, you can enter to win one of these lovely MTP5s down below. So look at the link down below there and you can click to win. And thank you, Lewitt, for sending this mic to try. I really appreciate it. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, goodbye.